Guys, I think we are live, like live and direct. I'm just taking a look here just to see how everything looks. Everything pretty much looks cool, legit. All right, I think we are live. Guys, I want to say a very good afternoon to you guys. See, I have right here an iPad. This has been flipped on eBay. Beautiful iPad, beautiful design. This is what I talk about when I tell you that we're going to be flipping, stuff for profits. PCs, monitors, mini PC, tower PCs, everything in between. And right now, this iPad has been flipped. Just going to try to take a look and see for how much it was flipped. If you're still thinking right now that there's no money to be made on eBay, you better have to think again, because a beautiful iPad like this is an iPad Air, 2022, 5th gen. I'm just trying to check. Give me 1 minute. €444, including shipping. Very tricky iPad, because each time I put my hand on the screen, it has a way of having this, this mark right there. And one thing I don't want to do is to send an iPad to a buyer and it has a lot of fingerprints on the screen. See? So what I normally do is just to make sure I clean it as much as I possibly can before I go ahead, to wrap it. Guys, this is one of the things that you want to flip for profit on eBay. But when you have a thing like this, you have to be careful, because this is where the action is. People want to have this, and when people buy it, they want to be sure that the item is going to be delivered in the very best condition. I've already checked it to be sure it's working. As a matter of fact, these are fresh stuff coming directly from big organizations. So there's absolutely no reason for it not to work. It has been checked. It has been, controlled to be sure that it works. And right here, I still got the charger. I'm just going to go ahead and plug it one last time so that we can all see that at the time of shipping it out, it actually was still working. But the problem right now is, okay, not a problem. Just going to take this. Just going to grab my extension cable so that I'm kind of, I don't want to unplug this, because sometimes it's better when this charger can be delivered exactly the way it is, instead of me, opening it up and then having to struggle to fold it back. So I'm going to plug that on, and I'm going to carefully take that and see how I can actually, all right, so it's been plugged. We're just going to wait for the iPad. That's the logo right there, looking very, very clean. Nothing broken, nothing that, yes, that's it. Exactly what I wanted. It's 59% battery. I think that's, a lot. And for whoever is going to buy this, as soon as the person receives it, the person still has, the batteries to actually, test things out. All right. So I think this is just all I need to do. I have to clean this one more time and just make sure that this is the way this thing right here is going to be going out. So I'm going to switch it off. Shut down, and still have to go ahead, push that there, and the iPad is going to, go ahead, shut down itself. And in this way, see, what I normally like to do is to put this thing like in some transparent bag, just like that, and then close this up. Ideally, it's not so necessary, but because I do not want this thing to have any kind of fingerprint while I'm packing it, this is exactly why. All right, hi. AM Edits model, that's the iPad Air 5th Gen 2022, and it sold for €444, including shipping. One of the best, selling iPad I have right now. I also have, the iPad 8 Gen 2020, but this has proven to be, something that a lot of people want to have because the design is just pretty decent, beautiful, and the condition absolutely is in the best condition. Meonites, hi. I see all of you guys. I'm just chilling here in the warehouse and I felt like, what can I do since I'm packing this iPad? One decent thing I tend to sell all the time on my eBay shop, and I am actually trying to sell, not trying, I keep saying this word, I do not want to say it anymore. I am selling pieces until I buy a house. I am flipping pieces until I buy a house. And when I say flipping pieces, it includes everything: laptops, desktop pieces, mini pieces, tower pieces, iPads like these, monitors, phones, depending on what kind of offers I get. Right. What's up, guys? Where are you guys watching from? I'm here doing my thing from Germany. Would be great to know where you guys are actually watching from. AM Edits, I see you. Meonite, I see you. Thanks for stopping by. If you are not subscribed to the channel, I want to like your stream. Thank you so much, Meonite. Yes, I'm just trying my best. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to actually, find time to just sit and make a dedicated video. But sometimes when I'm in the warehouse and I'm kind of relaxed, like today, it's just 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I still have about an hour to go, but I'm not going to stream for an hour. Don't worry about that. I have an hour to go and the post office guy is not here. So I felt like I could easily go live and just, talk to you guys, talk to my fans. Thank you all for, watching the videos. Thank you all for clicking on the like button, for subscribing to the channel. And if you ever have any question as regards, reselling IT hardwares, laptops, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. And I will be happy, like more than happy, to answer you, because sometimes I want to help you guys, put you guys on game, but I don't know where your question or what kind of questions you have. And if you do not ask me, it's kind of difficult, to know exactly where your pain points are, guys. But one thing I do know is that if you are not selling stuff right now on the internet, you are actually missing out on a lot of stuff. See, if you have this kind of stuff to pack, the best thing you want to do is to make sure that you are bubble wrapping it as much as you can. This is a 444 euro item. And the last thing you want to do is to make sure that you do not pack it properly. Yes, if you make sure you do not pack it properly, you're going to be sorry. And this is how I typically tend to pack my stuff. This is just the first. Have a nice day. Go for it. Okay, great. Enjoy your football match, Meonite. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I appreciate it. All right. Catch up some other time. If you are into reselling, always feel free to come around and let's have a chat. All right. I was saying that, look, I tend to want to put a bubble wrap first layer just like that, but this is not all. I still have to take another, bubble wraps. Oh, it's so far away, but I got it. And then I want to go ahead and make sure that this thing is by. Thanks for stopping by. You see, I want to make sure that this thing is packed once again. That's one wrap, second wrap, third wrap, and that's the fourth wrap, just like that. It's going to be exactly like this. And I'm going to go ahead to tape it one more time. If there's anything that you must remember is that a 400 euro item is not a baby item. It's something that somebody might have, been saving for a long time. People do not have a lot of money like that to just, splash on an item. And when the item doesn't work, they are definitely not going to be happy. And an item not working in this case might mean that, the item is delivered and it doesn't do its job, doesn't impress the buyer. The buyer is not going to be happy And this might just be a reason for people to want to return items. When you have done something like this, I see no reason why this thing right here, this iPad 5th Gen 2022, will be destroyed during transportation. It doesn't matter how the delivery driver will throw this packet around. It's going to stay like this, and this is exactly how you want it to be. So next thing I want to get now is my carton. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just going to grab this carton right here, and I'll be back with you guys. Guys, if you are having fun with this stream, do me a favor, click on the like button. Do not forget to be subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate that, all right? This is exactly what I have to ship off this iPad Air, and it's not just enough for it to be of good quality. I still have to make sure that, you know, the base of the package or the packet or the carton is actually protected, and I have a lot of packing papers here to do that. What I just did now was to cut it off a little bit, because if it's this carton is pretty very high, and I do not want to start to feed this whole box with packing paper. So the package, I keep saying package, the carton also gives me the possibility to cut it off and kind of reduce the height. So I want it to be something like this, or something just like this. All right, and in this way it's easier to fill up, and I do not have to struggle. So that goes in there. I'm going to grab some extra. Going to put that on the base, and this is going to, right now I do not know where the top of the iPad is, but I'm just going to drop it in like that, and it's going to be exactly something like that. That's not enough. I still have to get my packaging paper and put it right there. All right, the next thing I want to include in the box now will be this invoice right here, and before putting it, I just want to take a look to be sure that everything looks good. And what I want to do is to fold it up, put it in a box, so that when the buyer receives this package, the first thing they see is that, okay, this seller has actually included the invoice. This is good enough. Do not forget to include your charger. If you do that, the transaction is as good as not done, because the buyer is going to reach out and want to ask you to send, you know, whatever was missing in the package. So that goes away, and I'm going to go ahead, close this box right now. All right. So guys, this is one good way you can actually go ahead and pack an iPad. Of course, understand that this is a very expensive transaction. You want to make sure that you have done all your due diligence, you know, which is somebody buys this thing, make sure that you have checks to be sure that the buyer is legit, because we are living a day and age where everything is possible, right? This is a time where I can actually sit now and have some, you know, pretty chill, relaxed time with you guys. Of course, I do not have a long time to stay here, so the stream is also not going to be so long. So if you have any questions, you know, try to, you know, write it on the chat section so that we can actually talk about it. But from my own experience, from what I have noticed in the last few days, eBay is kind of very, very good right now. You see, the idea is that we hope that everything stays like this, because there are times where things don't sell, and it could be a little bit tricky, because when things are not selling, yes, for those of us that do this as a business, not just like a hobby, I hope I'm well positioned, because I feel like camera is kind of cutting me. For those of us that do this as a business, yes, it might be a little bit stressful if you have to depend on this business to pay your bills, you know. But from what I have noticed, in the last 1 week, we have had some very, very good, transactions. Good sales, talking about, sales in the upward of, 444 euros was this iPad, not one. Yesterday, we also sold another one, which was another 444 euros. We had a 337 euros 73 cent Fujitsu Esprimo D757 selling, a 240 euro Fujitsu Esprimo P720, a Dell Precision 3420 sold for 281 euros, and a white PC Fujitsu Esprimo Q558. Right now, I wouldn't say this PC has a problem, this Fujitsu Esprimo Q558. The problem is that the buyer bought it, and I also thought that, I'm just trying to see if I can pop out the pictures for you to see. I also thought before listing this item, I honestly thought that it was an item that had, a DVD writer. I'm just trying to crop the photo so that I do not display the details of the buyer. All right, exactly, this is what I mean. That's it right there. So if you take a look at it, in front of it, I actually did think that this PC had a DVD writer. So in the offer description, I included that this PC right here, the Fujitsu Esprimo Q558, white, decent condition, had a DVD writer, and somebody went ahead, bought it for 304 euros, and the item was delivered. Everything was good. 2 days later, the buyer reached out to me and said, sorry, doesn't have a DVD writer. And I was like, shoot, this is not supposed to be. Then I explained that, look, I could actually go ahead and give you, but I do not have a white DVD writer to include in this thing. That was an oversight from my side, that I didn't actually check it to be sure that it had one, but it's what it is. But then the beautiful thing is that the buyer was kind of very understanding, said, no problem, just give me whatever you have. I wouldn't mind having a black DVD writer, but then if you send me a DVD writer, please include the instructions so that I will be able to install one myself. When I heard that, that was a good one from the buyer, because I was honestly thinking that the buyer had bought this PC because of the color, which is pure white, and didn't want any combination color for this kind of PC. But since the buyer says, not a problem, I'm going to go ahead, send out a DVD drive possibly tomorrow, even though I replied by saying that I'll send it out today. It's already 16 o'clock, and I don't have the time right now to begin to make this this video as to direct the buyer on what to do. Tomorrow is a better day because I'm not so busy tomorrow the way it stays now. If everything stays like this, then I will have a lot of time, to create an instructional video for, the buyer. In case you are wondering if this is how I have to create instructional videos for everybody that buys my item, no, this is just a one-off transaction. It hasn't happened in a long time, that I have to actually, walk a buyer through how to install certain hardware. It doesn't happen all the time, but whenever it happens like this, also not a problem. It's something I'm open to doing. As a matter of fact, I also have a tech channel, Hardware Money, where I post, stuff like this, which is troubleshooting your PCs, installing new parts, installing your SSDs, your RAM, and so on and so forth. So it will also make a very good video for my channel, which is something I feel is good. Guys, if you are right there in the stream, smash the like button, comment, ask me questions, let me know what your pain points are. If you sell on eBay, it will also be good to know what you sell, where you sell from, because I'm aware that I have a lot of audience watching me from all over the world, from the UK, from America. Let me know where you guys are watching from. It will help us to put things in the right perspective. This afternoon, I did make a video about AI listers, and I was actually saying in this video that yes, this is a thing, something that you might want to try out if you are this kind of person that sells a lot of items. If you sell a lot of items, makes sense, try it out and see if it's something that you can actually incorporate into your business, because it could just be a game changer for you. If you are typical high volume seller, which is you tend to sell a lot of items, you go thrifting a lot and you bring back these items, and then you are not faced with the challenges of actually going to list them. An AI lister, because we are living the days and age where technology is beginning to interact more and more with our day-to-day activities. Technology is being deployed in every aspect of reselling, in every other aspect of business. you know, if it just makes no sense if you have this tool at your disposal and not try to see if it could make your work lighter. A long time ago, when I was still selling a lot of, you know, different stuff, it could be very, very tedious to list items, could be very time consuming, it could be very also, you know, very tiring, to be honest. You know, sometimes I come, I see the inventories I have to list. You know, I just don't have any motivation to do anything. You know, right now I have a lot of stuff lying around here in the warehouse. First of all, because these items are low value items, I have little or no motivations to list them. Of course, I know I can actually pull up myself from the bootstrap, you know, and say, I have to list this in, these items come what may. But for now, I have absolutely no motivations to do that because, of course, I have a lot to do. I think the high value items are selling. It just makes no sense to leave the items that are selling or leave what is currently working, you know, trying to, you know, list cables, list some you know, network adapters when you do not know when they're going to sell. Of course, I'm not saying that I'm definitely going to list them, because at the end of the day, we are ready to put in the effort that is going to take for us to see results. All right. But then if you've not seen the video, try to check it out. It might just be a little bit of an eye-opener for you to know that, look, AI is here to stay. People are working around the clock to ensure that, you know, these AI listing tools are brought to life, you know. And the beautiful thing is that some of the pioneers of these research tools, these AI listing tools, you know, they are resellers like you and I, which makes it kind of very, very interesting, because as resellers, especially those that already sell on eBay, this is a game changer. They already know the pain points. They know what to focus their effort on. They know how to, you know, optimize the lister to be able to, you know, develop titles that kind of matches with the eBay lingua. Because if somebody from the IT sector is just to come around without a prior knowledge of eBay or how, you know, items should be well displayed on the listing page, then it's not going to work. But if if a reseller or somebody that's already gone through the learning curve of, you know, buying and selling on eBay now decides to build a tool, I want to feel like that might be a game changer. So it's something to watch out for. There's a lot going on. Of course, the year is about running to an end. October is around the corner. We are almost in the last quarter of this year, and this might just be a time where things will begin to take shape for a lot of people. For some people, January up to now, September, is pretty much like you just, you know, grinding it out. Yes, some months you make very good sales, but for some people, this last 3 months is going to, you know, be the month where they're going to make a lot of profit, because yes, transactions are going to go down. People are going to buy gift items. Some companies are going to be changing their whole, you know, inventories of IT hardwares. This is exactly where I roll, because every year is always like that. People want to make sure that they still spend their budget, especially what they have earmarked for, you know, developmental projects. They want to buy computers, they want to buy monitors, and hopefully I should be able to get a piece of that cake. Your category also plays a big role in how much you make in Q4. If you sell stuff that people do not want at this time, sorry, you might not be balling, you know. But one thing you want to do is to have a mix of items that tend to sell in Q4. You know, iPads like this, like I just packed, these are items that people typically tend to use as gift items, you know. If people have, you know, people celebrating birthdays, phones are things people typically tend to use in this time. You know, iPads, laptops, 14 inches laptops, stuff like that, mini PCs. These have been known to be very, very good, gift items. So I'm also concentrating on these items, making sure that I have a lot of them ready to go. And hopefully this is the same way, the same direction in which you are also thinking. Guys, we're going to be leaving this stream here. It's 24 minutes. I have to go to the post office. If you see this stream on a replay, please don't forget, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have questions. Apart from that, we are going to be seeing this time again tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful